First of all, I want to thank Vicki and Jay Parnell for inviting me and putting on a great spread with all their friends, and let's give it up for them. Without them, we'll not be here. I love to hear her sing. Was anybody here last year for the show? Good, I can do that show. There's one again. I have to learn any new ones. You're going to find that through the songs that I'm going to sing, seems like the older I get, the more I like older things. So it's kind of a nostalgic trip here we're going to take, if that's okay with y'all. All right. I don't mind putting Jesus in a song.
Yeah, good. Amen.
I don't mind putting whiskey in a song. And there's one song I got them both in. Now, if you don't like either one, it's okay. I'm only here for about an hour. Deal with it. We'll be friends. So here's a song that's about 8 years old. It's always a good starting song. It's just a beat up old guitar, but it's more than that to me. It says what I'm thinking with words and melody, and it don't have to talk to see what I see. It's just a beat up old guitar, but it's more than that to me. It's just a rusted out old Chevy, but it's more than that to me. It was there when I met her down at the Dairy Queen, and she's still sliding over next to me in the front seat. It's just a rusted out old Chevy, but it's more than that to me. To someone else, it may not look like much, but to myself, it's more than enough. And as long as I can remember what it means, it may be just to know something, but it's more than that to me. It's just a dusty old Bible, but it's more than that to me. From my grandpa's daddy, it made its way to me. And in the pages you will find the way that we should be. It's just a dusty old Bible, but it's more than that to me. To someone else, it may not look like much, but to myself, it's more than enough. And as long as I can remember what it means, it may be just to know something, but it's more than that to me. It may be just to know something, but it's more than that to me. Well, there you go. Painless. All right. Is that all right? Everything? All right. Now, December 15th, 1991, my whole life changed. That's when I met my Joycey.
Hang in there, George.
And she has been a blessing every day since. I'm not sure I have. But here's what I figured out. Well, I'm not the easiest man to be around. I can take her patience and run it in the ground. Well, she'll even tell you I put her through hell. but she's still with me. So as far as I can tell, if she were leaving, if she were leaving, if she were leaving, then she'd be gone by now. I lost count of the reasons she's had to walk out. And by the grace of the good Lord, that she still lay around. And maybe she was sent here 'cause he knew I needed help, and I'd never make it with anybody else. If she were leaving, if she were leaving, if she were leaving, and she'd be gone by now. If she were leaving, if she were leaving, if she were leaving, and she'd be gone by now. All right, a little tender love song right there, Corey. All right. So I used to work this hot dog stand, and
You'll like this chair a whole
it was kind of a neat place to work. It was just they'd come up to the counter, order hot dogs, and I'd give it, sell it to them. So one night this old boy comes staggering up to the hot dog stand. And I'm just figuring he's another satisfied customer of the bar. But the closer he got, the more obvious it became. It was more than the liquor that was bothering him. In fact, he was using liquor as a comfort for him. Because he had that look in his eyes, when you get and you're either desperate or you're lost and you just don't know what to do. And so he was drinking. Well, I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say nothing. I think sometimes that's God's way of telling you he's not ready to listen. He could have said something profound, but he just wasn't in the mood. Well, anyways, the guy walked away. He staggered away, same way as he came up. And he passed by this table with 4 people, and they just chuckled as they looked at him get to his seat. Thought about it for a minute. Thought I was going to get mad. But then, they didn't look in his eyes, so they had no idea. He just looked like that guy that was drinking too much. And I wonder how many times we do that. That we might make a statement or assess a situation without even knowing what's going on in that person's life. So that night at 3:30 in the morning, with a couple buddies of mine, we wrote this song. Well, they were loud enough to hear from way across the room, laughing at his 2-day beard and his whiskey for perfume. I guess he finally had enough, though he could barely stand. He got their full attention with bourbon in his hand. He said, maybe I just lost the job I'd been on 20 years. I realize she ain't coming back, and I'm struggling with the tears. Unless you can read my mind and know what I've been thinking, you don't know why I've been drinking. Well, the room got deathly quiet as we hung on every word and got an education about the different kinds of hurt. He talked about the devil's judging when we don't know it all, and kicking someone when they're down instead of trying to break the fall. He said, maybe I just buried someone that I love, or having trouble talking to the man above. Now, friend, don't get me wrong, This ain't the whiskey speaking. You don't know why I've been drinking. Then he turned away and staggered across the floor and turned around before he walked out the door. And he said, well, sometimes we say things we shouldn't be saying. You don't know why I've been drinking. No, you don't know why I've been drinking. Too deep? All right, man.
Beautiful.
Now, I realize I have the grayest hair in here. When I was growing up, you could ride on the back dash of the car. You could lay down on the back dash. Does anybody remember that? Yeah. That's back when they had a back dash. That's where the speakers were, you know? And the front dash was always made out of metal. They didn't have padded dash till, Rusty, you the car expert. 65. So there we were. Hose it off, and always in Louisiana, it's a predominantly Catholic state, and we got these little Jesus statues that would fit up on the dash. Anybody remember those? Well, I mean, Mama was raising 5 kids on her own at the time. We never got in a wreck. I figured he was doing his job. It was good. So I always found comfort when he was there. And now you put him up there, there's no magnet. It just slides off. Kind of like if we don't watch it, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so me and another couple of buddies of mine sat there and wrote this. Well, I could hear the preacher calling. Tears were being shed. People kneeling at the altar. Amazing grace was being led. Now I ain't one for showing everybody how I feel, but I ain't scared of much when I get behind the wheel. With a dashboard for a pulpit, a front seat for a pew, a rearview mirror to my weakness, and a windshield to the truth. Yeah, I can find forgiveness every time I ask, when it's just me and Jesus on the dash. Mama gave him to me the day I got this car, and I can tell that he don't judge me, judging by his open arms. I might be hell on wheels as far as anybody knows, but when the time is right, I turn off the radio. And with a dashboard for a pulpit, a front seat for a pew, a rearview mirror to my weakness, and a windshield to the truth. Yeah, I can find forgiveness every time I ask, when it's just me and Jesus on the dash. I admit that I'm a sinner, I bring that on myself, but that don't mean the devil has a chance in hell. With a dashboard for a pulpit, a front seat for a pew, a rearview mirror to my weakness, and a windshield to the truth. I can find forgiveness every time I ask, when it's just me, when it's just me and Jesus on the dash. And Jesus on the dash. You like that? All right. So I'm gonna do this song. I don't do it much. I don't do it at every show, but I feel like I can here. There's a Trent Tomlinson. Anybody know Trent? Anybody ever heard of him? Okay. Well, there's a song he sang. I don't think it's on any of his records, but he came to the bar one day and he sang, and it just blew my mind. So I just thought I might try it, and I screened it earlier, and they said it would be okay. Yeah. It's kind of like the temperament of the world. I heard this is a gun-bearing state of South Carolina. You ain't afraid to tote it. Well, this was for you and me. If some old boy breaks in my house, he's gonna find a shotgun in his mouth. And if he tries to make a move at all, I'll get a new paint job on my wall. Well, can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a damn straight? Can I get an amen for what I'm saying? And if I'm not alone here, lift up your ice cold beer and I'll preach on. Yeah, I'll preach on. If you're too damn lazy to get to work, well, you can starve to death as far as I'm concerned. And if you ain't here illegal, get your ass back home. We're doing just fine here on our own. So can I get a hell yeah? Can I get an amen? Can I get a damn straight for what I'm saying? If I'm not alone here, lift up your ice cold beer and I'll preach on. And I'll preach on. If some old boy breaks in my house, he's gonna find a shotgun in his mouth. You go to a Trent Tomlinson concert, make sure you ask for that one. I like doing songs like that, and I've written love songs, and I'm gonna play you one here in a bit. And but I like telling stories about some things I've been through. That's all right with y'all. So, long about right after 9/11, maybe a year or so after. And this is another song I don't do much. But I'm going to do it today. And me and some buddies of mine wanted to get together and write a song about what was going on, how we felt, from the soldier's point of view, because everything else was about the country's point of view. And while I wasn't a soldier, my father, my brother, my sister, my nieces, my nephew were all soldiers. And so I feel like I'm engulfed in knowing what's going through their mind. One of my buddies that we were writing with, he was in the military. And the other guy was just a singer, but he was gonna transfer our thoughts. So we wrote this song. We couldn't get Nashville to pick it up. Played it, we were so proud of it. Played it. Didn't get anybody to bite on it. So we put this little guitar vocal thing together, and we put it on the singer's website. His name is Dustin Evans. He's out of South Dakota, but he's pretty big out west. So anyway, and it was for free. It's free downloads. Just go get the song. And next thing you know, his site went from 2,000 hits a week to 4,000 hits a day. People going to the site to download the song. And not long after that, a lawyer in Philadelphia to a contractor in San Diego, you could go to their website, and there was always a link to the site for Dustin to download the song. If you love our troops, download this. And you can keep count of so much, but then it just got way, way out of hand. And I mean, we lost count like at 100 million downloads. And but it was not for the money. It wasn't about the money. It was about the message of the song. So anyway, I get a phone call. I'm sitting at the house one day. I get a phone call, and And if anybody deals with the military, they know USAA is the insurer of the military and their families. So it was a guy from there. And he asked, "Are you Rick Tiger?" And I said, "Yes, I am." "Did you write this song?" I said, "Well, I had help, but I was in the room." Yeah. And he said, "Well, the Pentagon just called me, because I guess after all the downloads, it finally had to reach somebody up there, don't you think? And they want us to do something with the song, so we're going to make a video on the song. We want y'all to come and check it out, and we'll take you down to San Antonio and we'll air it, and like the preview." So they flew us down to San Antonio. Me and my buddies. I mean, we experienced things in life, but that was pretty cool. Okay, limo picked us up, and I had my best jeans, and I find out like 3 hours before you can't wear jeans to this place. So we're scrambling. Anyway, so we walked into this room, this conference room that sat about 100 people, and it was filled with soldiers. Some wearing stars and some not, and dignitaries. And the song played. And we cried, And we thought, what a cool moment. But it pales in comparison what those guys are doing when they're going toe-to-toe and bullet to bullet.
Right.
So that particular Memorial Day, the video aired around the world at every military installation all day long. So, just to let y'all know, I am a pretty big deal. Okay? Just wanted y'all to know where this was going. Oh yeah, the guys fight, but okay. No. So this is one of my proudest moments, and I'm thinking this thing is still out of tune, but we're going to get through it. Well, back home now, I know you're probably sleeping. Over here, it's the middle of the day. I finally found the time to write a letter. Sitting here half a world away. I heard about all those folks protesting, as if I really want this war. But that don't stop me from believing there's still some things worth fighting for. So if I die before you wake, I pray the world will take a good look at what God's given us. And we could only understand everything is in His hands, and all we need is a little faith and trust. I want you to know it ain't too high a price to pay if I die before you wake. Well, tell everybody that I miss them, and I can't wait to get back home. But until then, I'll serve my country and be proud to wear this uniform. So if I die before you wake, I pray the world will take a good look at what God's given us. And we could only understand everything is in His hands, and all we need is a little faith and trust. I want you to know it ain't too high a price to pay if I die before you wake. Well, no, it ain't too high a price to pay if I die before you wake. To the soldiers. There you go. a little emotional on that. There's a video on YouTube of it. I think it has 5 or 6 million views or something like that. So, all right. We're almost there, folks. Just hang in there. Drink a little bit more. I promise you I'm great at the end of the show. I have a plan. All right. Let me do this love song. I love my Joycey. I do. This is the way I feel about life. When you get mad, dance. Seems to comfort me. Dance with me, if you will. Let this melody make time stand still. Take my hand, feel me breathe, and know my love, and dance with me. In the silence of unspoken voice, let the beat of our hearts make all the noise. You can follow or you can leave. Just for now, dance with me. At a bus stop in the middle of the winter, on a park bench with the changing of the leaves. Where we are doesn't really matter. Will you dance with me? On the rooftop in the lights of the city, on a boardwalk as we wish upon the sea. Where we are doesn't really matter. Will you dance with me? You dance with me. And through the years, there'll be laughter and there'll be tears, but my love I give to thee. This I promise, dance with me. It's all I ask, dance with me. Something like that. That's all right. All right. Jesus and whiskey, maybe. Ronnie's favorite song. Well, there ain't a time there ain't liquor on his breath. All the good book clenched there tightly to his chest. It's not the way it was, it's just the way it is. You'll never convince him that the two don't mix. Yeah, somewhere in the streets, in the cold of the heat, he'll preach with a Bible and bottle. He's looking for souls out of reach. Holding scripture and verse, he knows the words of the Father. His eyes get misty, mixing whiskey and holy water. Yeah, some will stop and some will pass him by, but he'll keep on till someone sees the light. In a world of a dollar, he don't ask for a dime. So who's to say who's wrong and who's right? Yeah, somewhere in the streets, in the cold of the heat, he'll preach. With a Bible and bottle, he's looking for souls out of reach. Quoting scripture and verse, he knows the words of the Father. Yeah, his eyes get misty, mixing whiskey and holy water. Yeah, his eyes get misty, mixing whiskey and holy water. All right. Is everybody liking this all right?
It's getting warmer now.
All right.
Warm up for the oil is, you know.
Well, if you like what you're hearing, my wife's got CDs over there.
No.
If you don't like it, she's got koozies and cigarette lighters. Something for everyone. Every song has a story, some are just not worth telling. So, I'm going to tell you this. As much as I love this song, it was something I found on the internet. When you look on Facebook and people, or the unknown people just put something up there. Just somebody shared this, but it had no author. And I imagine if I play it enough, I'll find out who really wrote it, and then they'll want part of the song. But that's okay too. And I can't tell you how many times I've been here. So, it's almost, well, it works for me, you know, my soul. How am I doing, Dougie? All right. We all want to climb the highest mountain, but sometimes the devil's waiting there to push you off. Well, then you're falling down, going down, broken down, rolling down, burdened with your problems, and drifting out to sea, hoping someone knows you're lost, and you feel like you're being pulled under, drowning in the life that you lead. When coming up for air, it keeps getting harder. Don't forget there's a lifeguard that walks on water. Can I get a whoo? Well, ain't nothing new, and he's been doing it forever. And you can read all about it in the words written in red. Yeah, they beat him up, nailed him up, stood him up, and not enough to keep him from rising. But John 3:16 was just like his daddy said. And when you feel like you're being pulled under and drowning in the life that you lead, when coming up for air, whoa, keeps getting harder. And just remember there's a lifeguard that walks on water. Then you feel like you're being pulled under and drowning in the life that you lead. When coming up for air, it keeps getting harder. And don't forget there's a lifeguard that walks on water. That's pretty good, huh? Woo! We don't have to go to church tomorrow. I'll do another gospel just to ensure that. I only got a couple more left. Thanks for hanging out. Are y'all leaving me?
No.
Oh, no.
Y'all getting closer? That sure looks leaving. That sure looks like leaving to me. There's a song. That sure looks like leaving. Are you leaving me? No, and they walk out the door. Hey, how about the Super Bowl? Go Broncos? Okay. All right. Okay, but let me tell you about what happened at the Super Bowl, okay? Well, all right. So, and maybe you didn't hear about it, but about the old boy that saved all year for tickets to the Super Bowl 50. Did you hear about that? Okay. So he saves all year long for one ticket. He gets to the Super Bowl and he's got the highest seat in the house. I mean, you can't, if you go any further back, you can't go further back. You're going to go to the parking lot. So during the game, first part of the game, he's watching down halfway down there, almost like to the field, and he sees an old man sitting with nobody sitting in the seat next to him. So come halftime, he kind of works his way down there. He figures, I got to go ask. So he works his way all the way down to that seat, and that old man's sitting there, and he said, sir, is anybody, I noticed this seat empty, is anybody taking it? He goes, well, it was my wife's seat, and but she passed away. He said, well, but you can go ahead and sit there if you like. He said, well, sir, I can't do that. Surely you got family or friends to sit there. He goes, oh, yeah, but they're all at the funeral. So go ahead and sit. I'm not sure if he was a Panther fan or a Bronco fan. So we're almost at the end of me. So let me tell you this. I got just a couple more songs, and then I think maybe we'll take a break and Vicki will come up and sing some, and whoever else wants to. But I've sure enjoyed being here. I really have. Here's I was at a Target store with my wife, Joyce. And now nothing is just by itself anymore. Everything has something in it. So this Target store has a Starbucks in it. Joyce loves Starbucks. Me, not so much. But I love Joyce. So there I am in the Starbucks line, waiting for a double hot mocha frappe on ice. It's whatever costs $15.95. That's what I'm getting. So we're sitting there, and Joyce is drinking her drink. And we could see the parking lot of the Target at the counter we were sitting at the Starbucks. And people were just busy, running around, just doing their thing. And out of nowhere comes this gentleman. He has a few more years on him than I do. But he's got a 3-pronged cane. And he's making his way across the parking lot. Kind of like the tortoise and the hare. I mean, everybody going by fast, and there he goes. But he's going to make it into that Target store because that's his determination. And I think what got me was that nobody even stopped and said, hey, how you doing? Let me walk with you. You know, or what's your name? And, you know, you figure when you get up there in years that you'd at least get that respect from people just too busy to, they mind their own business and they go. So it was one of those other moments where I was about to get mad because nobody stopped, took time just to even say hello, get to know the guy. Then I got to thinking about, what do I know about my own family? How far back can I go other than my brothers and sisters? You know, I knew some of my mom's childhood just in the story she told, but what about her dad's childhood, or, you know, that kind of thing. So the next time I got back home in Louisiana, I sat down with a paper and pad with Mama and just took notes as far back as she could go. And I know at least I got that with me, you know. And but sometimes we move so fast we don't pay attention to even our own roots. And the way they keep trying to change American history, you know, I'm not going to let them change my history. So a buddy of mine got together, Sean Carson, who used to play for Neil McCoy. Does anybody remember Neil McCoy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Paul McCartney told me not to name drop, but I figured Neil McCoy was not too big of a name, was he? Y'all gonna go home, on your way home, y'all gonna really get this stuff. You're gonna laugh. So Sean and I sat in a room, for a few hours, probably about 15 years ago, and wrote this. And it's one of those things that I'm proud of. I can't tell you why nobody else has recorded it. But that's okay, I'll just keep playing it. The longer we live, the more of this we see.
We're back.
Thank God. I drug that story out as long as I could.
We couldn't stand it. We had to come back.
All right. Well, Mama made the call last fall she didn't want to make. She did what she had to for a man that was 88. Well, I got there the day after the day she moved him in to the place that would take better care of him. And as I walked into his room, it was clear to me there was more to Grandpa's life than I'd ever seen. In an old frame hanging on the wall, he played shortstop, minor league ball. He was younger. On the dresser laid a Purple Heart. I never knew he fought that hard. He was stronger. Yeah, I asked him about those stories that he never told, and he just smiled at me and said, I ain't always been this old. So I pulled up a chair and we lost track of time. As he emptied out his heart and he filled up mine, one story ended as another one began. And through his eyes I saw the life of a much younger man. Then he reached into the nightstand for a letter. Said she's been gone for quite some time, but I can't forget her. It's from your grandma back in '53. It's the first time she wrote she loved me and took my breath away. If you read it, that's what true love is. Keep it, I know what it says on every page. And when you reach the part, now she kept me warm when nights were cold. She said, boy, remember this, I ain't always been this old. I may never know everything about him, but he made me look at older people different. In an old frame hanging on my wall, he played shortstop, minor league ball. He was younger. On the dresser lays a Purple Heart. I never knew he fought that hard. He was stronger. Yeah, I asked him about the stories that he never told, and he just smiled at me and said, I ain't always been this old. I ain't always been this old. I ain't always been this old. All right. I'll do a Haggard song for Rusty because no, I ain't gonna do mine, but I'll do a Haggard song for Wish I Were Down on some blue bayou, a bamboo cane stuck in the sand. But the road I'm on don't seem to go there, so I'll just dream and keep on being the way I am. Wish I enjoyed what makes my living, doing what I do with a willing hand. Now some may run, but that ain't like me. So I'll just dream and keep on being the way I am. The way I am don't fit my shackles. The way I am, reality. I can almost see that barber dancing, but I'll just dream, keep on being the way I am. There you go, Rusty, from Earl Haggard. All right, got one more song, and we're done. Thank you again for showing up.
10 more.
And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
We have.
All right, thanks. So I was on Music Row, doing what I do, and if anybody knows ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, they're the ones who collect your royalties for when you get stuff on the radio and TV, you know, YouTube and stuff like that, live performances. So the discussion was about the guy, the head of ASCAP, wanted to see me because he heard about my house tour last year, and so I sat and talked with him last year, and he wanted to know what was going on, and then he wanted to know what I wanted. And I said, I came here in 1991 looking for a #1 song, and that hasn't changed. Except I wanted more for my family that's done without me for 25 years down in South Louisiana, and the wife that's put up with me for over 20 years here. Yeah. And the funniest thing came out of his mouth, and it just kind of blew my mind, because not that Music Row is evil or anything like that, but he just turned to me and said, "What's your prayer for yourself?" And I told him I don't pray for myself, because there's others that need it more. And I wasn't trying to be anything other than who I am. There's babies dying and friends passing away for no reason at all and getting sick, and it just didn't make sense to me. You know, when you're praying for yourself, it seems selfish. Well, he went on to tell me, don't underestimate the size of God's shoulders and the gifts he's got waiting for you. Well, I still have a hard time praying for myself, but that's the human in me. I'm fine with my walk, and me and Jesus are working on it. Sometimes I feel like I'm the kid bowling on the lane that has the 2 bumpers. I'm going back and forth, but I'm still on the lane. So one day, a buddy of mine, Floyd Callan, and I started writing. We didn't have any idea what we was going to write about, but praying for myself was just in the back of my mind. And the more we wrote it, the more it became about something I needed to hear. And I can promise you this, while I still struggle with it, the answer at the end of the song is yes. So bear with me, okay? This will be the last song of the night, of my night anyway. Would it be okay today to pray for me? I'm in a place I never thought I'd be. If it's all right with you, I'll get down on my knees. Would it be okay today to pray for me? Would it be okay today to shed a tear from the troubles I've carried through the years? I heard that I can lay them at your feet. Would it be okay today to pray for me? Well, I've done way more wrong than I've done right. Is it too late for me to see the light? Would it be okay today if I confessed and tell you what's been weighing on my chest? Would you hear this weary soul and set me free? And would it be okay today to pray for me? I know I don't deserve your sympathy. Would it be okay today to pray for me? Thank you, Manny, South Carolina. Now, I'm done. So I just unplugged. Make sure you go see Joyce and just visit with her. I got koozies.
CD.
And CDs. I do. I'm just saying, sinner to sinner. How much time do we have left here, or just how did we all get here? Some may wonder, what's the truth?